morning, y'all. Good morning, Orla. What do you request?
Can we have heated?
Oh, yes, please. Oh, right up high. Warm my bum. Right, Orla dropped off to school. Yesterday's question asking if many of you have had putter fitting. Absolutely, it doesn't amaze me, but it kind of does how little, kind of the small amount of you have actually thought about having a putter fitting. I'm sure many of you, more of you are going for your driver fittings. Driver and distance is important. You're hitting more shots of a putter. To be honest with you as well, here's one then. The difference in my putter fitting yesterday was quite a lot. You don't normally, unless someone's just never been fit for a driver, you don't see that massive a change in numbers compared to what you saw in my putter fitting. And again, I think it's still that ego thing, which is where we still go for the driver fitting, isn't it? Right, I need a coffee. Right, today's question is how many times do you evaluate your golf grip? If you're someone who struggled with your grip, are you someone that's tried changing your grip? Did you have success or not? Let me know.
Welcome to Starbucks drive-through. What is it today?
Can I have a large caramel latte and then a water, please?
Yeah, anything else?
That's it, thanks.
There you go. Thank you very much. You have a good day.
And you, thanks a lot. Yes, please. Right, today's swing, we're going to look at club face angle in relationship to wrist angle. So if you look at this player's club face, we've got it pointing up to the sky. He's complained of hitting some big hooks. This swing is sent to me on Instagram at Crossfield Mark. If you don't already follow me, give me a follow. You can send your swings. I will try and pick some for some daily vlogs as we go. Now what happens is he has pretty good wrist angles, but the face is twisted, obviously coming via grip. And then in turn down at impact here, we see massive thrust forwards. He's doing everything he can to try and control that club face. He needs to get control of the grip. Needs to understand wrist angles in relationship to face. I see this getting muddled up a lot. I see this getting really muddled up on TV actually, when people talk about wrist angles as in what they would call cupping or bowing. So we're going to do wrist angles in relationship to club face today. Sounds like a fun day, doesn't it? So let's think about club face angle at the top of the backswing in relationship to hold. So if we get a top of the backswing position where the club face is pointing up to the sky, so kind of like this, if I start with a relatively neutral grip, to achieve that I've got to DJ my wrist. So give it massive bowing flexion in that wrist. But if I start with my, say, right hand way underneath the club here, I can get that club face up to the sky with my wrist in what would look like a nice position if you got it there with your neutral grip. So if you're complaining of hooks with the right hand underneath like you've got it, face pointing up to the sky, that's going to need some serious management on the way down, which is what we see. We see the management coming from that thrusting forward of that knee, trying to shove everything over there to stop it going over there. And it's probably a battle you're not winning every time. So we seriously need to think about getting that right hand much more on top of that club. So right hand more in the fingers and on top. You're probably going to find you're quite fisty with that right hand underneath and then again to the side. That's what's putting all the twist in. So if we can take that right hand to a neutral position, but then in turn keep those wrist angles, so get those wrist angles you've got, you're going to see some very different shots. Then in turn you're going to see some very different impact ideas, because just changing that grip on its own isn't going to work. We're going to do the other bits later on, but changing that grip with the idea of moving what happens at impact and working it round some good wrist conditions is what I think will just widen your skill set and get rid of the massive miss. You know, if you've got speed with that grip and that club face, woohoo! Welcome to Rory's world. That's your golf travel, Rory, not Rory McIlroy. That was a flying visit to Torquay Golf Club. Got some serious work to do. Back at home, get ready for my trip next week. Better get back. So if we're getting the right hand grip more on top, all the other movements you now do won't work. And this is what's always so much fun with coaching, is it's working out the person and all the balances, all the kind of matchups. Changing one thing will affect, let's say you've got 5 faults and you change one of them. Does that make 2 others go away, or does that make 3 others come? So you take one away and then you add another 3, so 4 plus 3. #7. And that's always what you're balancing and fighting. So with that right hand moving now into that more on top position, all of this high handle not so good rotation, thrusting this forward to deal with the high handle, which is all there to try and change lie and face angle. In turn, they're connected, but you don't need to now. We actually need the face angle moving the other way a little bit rather than trying to leave it out to the right so much. And we're going to do more on the grip position you start in and how that affects wrist angles in the third part. But before this player just goes and changes his grip, maybe doesn't watch the end of the video, got to do this bit as well if you're going to change your grip. So right hand now on top, we're going to need to get you feeling massive rotations around left hip, left shoulder going back. You're going to have to feel like the club is flinging out in front of you, like I've said before. So much more effort to catch the head up now with the handle. Feeling like you're coming around your body, right around with the follow through, getting rid of all this kind of action. Which if we change the grip, and I think your grip's quite aggressive to get that face to the angle you're getting at, those things need to happen. We need to match them up. We need to balance them. It's like everything in the golf swing. Nipped it. Got to balance your changes, your so-called fixes. Changing a grip from 9 times out of 10 for people is going to have a direct influence on face angle, lie delivery, and if you don't balance them up, you're actually going to hit worse shots. This is often the spiral that people get stuck in changing grips. So question of the day today was asked earlier about have you changed grip, how did you find it? I watch people going round because they change the grip but don't change these other bits. So they actually become worse. Why would anyone go for a lesson to want to be worse? Nip it. Nip it, yes. I know you're watching. Oh, that's what we want. We want that strike. Just imagine if I could up and down like I used to. Oh, but it was slightly thin.
Morning, Brett.
Morning.
If you went out here in Bristol with the dog.
Hello, doggy.
Anyway, just got sent a link on a WhatsApp thread, as you do, about the new handicap system coming in 2020.
Yeah.
And I just literally can't get my head around it. Everyone saying how, not great it's going to be, and working out your average score on a daily basis, or from your last 8 rounds, or this and that. Just wondered if you had seen it, noticed it, heard about it, what your thoughts are. Cheers, Brett.
So me and Rory have been talking about this. He hasn't looked at it that much. We want to do a full longer video on it, and to be honest with you, I kind of scanned it. I didn't look at it that much. I need to research it more. My initial thoughts, and I might be wrong on this, so just post down below. My initial thoughts as I scanned it, like I say, I didn't kind of properly read it, is that it feels, to me, more like it's trying to find balance between all the different countries. It's called a world handicap systems. I've played in international events when I was younger, and there was definitely some handicaps that weren't in line with our handicaps. I coached in London where we had people from other countries, and we had a lot of South Africans come to work for us, and their handicaps when they turned pro were not reflective of what they would play like if they played with us, because their system, I think, and don't quote me on this, if you're in South Africa again, maybe comment down below, and what do you think, will it make it better or worse? You know, they were putting cards in when they wanted, didn't have to be competitions, which just seemed to be maybe left for a little bit of indiscretion of when you put your cards in and not. The main thing for me, I do have a lot of faith in the RNA and the US, or the RNA and the American version, which would be the USGA, I guess. Anyway, whoever runs the handicap system in the States. Because lots of things in this game would be in a very different place if they were left to the companies and the people who want to just make money out of the game. The RNA have a mission statement, they've told it to me in a talk, is to keep the game fair for as many people as possible and to keep it a skill-based game, which the handicap system allows to do, controlling the equipment allows to do as well. The only thing that I do get a little bit concerned of with bodies like the RNA is, you know, there are probably many more people without handicaps who've got no intention of ever getting a handicap, and if you make it 9 holes, like there's ideas that you can get a handicap on 9 holes as well, I think, it just won't, that's just not going to appeal to them. They don't care. That's not what they're playing golf for. If I was an amateur now, I've got no desire to get a handicap. I don't want to play in competitions, I just want to play golf. So what about all those people and the people coming into the game who have that mentality as well? It's going to make no difference. You know, I hope it does the positive effect that it's trying to do, and that's what I trust in the RNA. I think they are trying to make things happen, but I always feel a little bit in golf, like you have golfers, right, in this vacuum here, and then you've got the world here, and like the golfers just don't let you in. Like, it's such a little vacuum world living in its own little kind of dress-ruled and slow play and can women play on certain times of the day strange world that I think sometimes it forgets that. I think sometimes it forgets that it doesn't exist always that well in the bigger global idea of what people want in the world, and I think that's a shame. But we will do more on this. Post comments down below. What are your thoughts? What have you read about it? Do you understand it? Give me some ideas about it down below. I would love to hear. Let's do some wrist angle matchups, so you're not just feeling like, say if you're watching people on telly, that it is a case of just kind of one wrist angle fits all, because it's not. It has to be dynamic to the angle that you put in at the start. So for instance, if I start with 4 knuckle grip, so a strong grip, and I'm hitting decent shots that way and I want to keep that grip, I am putting more twist and then in turn more extension in that lead wrist at the beginning. So to get a functional club face, possibly I might see a more extended version of my wrist at the top of the backswing than if I had a weak left hand. Good player to think like this is think of someone like Jordan Spieth, weaker in his left hand grip. So for him to get a similar functional position at the top, we might see him going this way. So the wrist angle at the top will differ subject to how much turn you're putting in at the beginning, how much extension or flexion you've got at the start. So we've got to get those matchups right, which is why it's so important that you do think about having individual lessons. Nippy nippy. Where if you take someone like Dustin Johnson, DJ for instance, we see the big bow of his wrist and the twisted club face, but he's using it for range of movement. It's giving him a completely different range of movement in his wrist, which is part of what allows him to generate the speed. Obviously his athleticism in his whole body and other aspects, but it's one of the small bits. If you go back to like the lag issues I've got much more range of movement this way than I have this way. Rule of thumb, and I use it with Fanula when she's struggling with direction. Oh, that's nipped. The more you turn your wrist this way, the more left she hits it, the more her wrist is this way, the more right she hits it. But don't be confused if you are seeing different wrist angles from different players, because they have to match up to what they put in at the start. A different amount of extension or not via your grip will require different amounts of wrist flexion or extension to get the desired club face control. And one of the other points when it comes to wrist angles not fitting one picture fitting all, my wrist angles might vary subject to the kind of shot I'm trying to hit. Again, with still pictures or watching the kind of PGA Tour players and the commentators doing their bit, all those kind of things, without knowing the intention of the shot that player's trying to hit, high bomb hook for me is going to look very different to kind of a low cut. I'm going to be playing with those angles to get the desired face to path control. If you work off the premise of this way is more left, that way is more right, it's a generalized idea, but if you relate that to your practice and some directional change in shots, you need to then play with the amount you're working those wrist conditions. We see this player with good wrist conditions, but because he's got that grip out at the start, wrist conditions not matching the club face is going to cause for quite a lot of inconsistency. Milo, they need replacing. That's better. What lovely new shoes, Lally. Aren't they lovely shoes? You got out without buying any shoes. That's a first, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's why Daddy did this job. See you all tomorrow. I say tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll get a vlog up because I'm travelling a lot tomorrow, but I will try. But if the meetings are longer and that kind of thing, so hopefully I will, but if I don't, there's another video going up already anyway, so there'll be a fun one thing, something fun for you to watch. Also, Monday I leave for America, so I'm in America all week, so the daily vlogs next week will happen, but obviously time differences, day of travel, uploads, they will come, I don't know when. See you tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday. See you soon.